throw love around. It's something very serious.
Yeah.
Love can make you or mess you, because love has the capacity to boost your life, your mental health.
Maybe let's speak to someone who is at that stage, or someone who is also in a relationship that they are noticing things and they're like, this is not consistent with what I thought love is or should be. What are some of those things that people need to look out for as they're starting relationships, or maybe you're in a relationship and you realize it is casual?
Communication is key.
It is.
In any partnership.
I saw a meme recently and the person was saying, you're not the first person to fall in love, so when you post on social media, just tell us the name of your partner and what God has done for you and keep it moving. Hello and welcome back to Reality Check. And I think it's in order for us to say Happy Valentine's Day or Happy Love Month, Happy Valentine's Month. It's the month of love, February 2025. And at Reality Check, we are celebrating with you and having conversations that might help you in this month. My name is Rachel, I'm your host, and I'm joined by Dr. Eva Satwine, who is the founder at International Center for Mental Health and Family Care. Or is it the other way around?
No,
that's it.
You got it.
So welcome to the show. Dr. Eva is a trained therapist. For those of you that are new here, she's a life coach, a parenting coach, and she'll also support you on your marriage journey. If you would like premarital counseling as well as post-marital counseling, she is the person to go to. And she doesn't work alone, by the way. She has a team of tried and tested therapists who you will find either at her branch in Ntinda or right here in Kamocha, where we are located today. This is the Suma Coffee and Wellness Center. And over here, it is good vibes, it is healthy things, it is taking care of your mental well-being. So you're going to find all of that and more at the Suma Coffee and Wellness Center, located right at Total Energies, just opposite Acacia Mall. As you can see, we are having some amazing healthy juice. Mine has some vitamin C. It's like a vitamin C combo. Some oranges, some carrots, some ginger. I can't wait to dig in, honestly. And I know there's been flus going around, so this is the perfect drink for you. So if you're in the neighborhood, or maybe you're looking for a place to spend your day, to come do some work, this place is open for you. And Dr. Ibas, I think you'll tell us what you're having.
Oh, mine is Body Boost. So it reboots my immune system and it gives me lots of energy. It's a combination of beetroot, chia seeds, and carrot. So this is the combination.
You're a big fan of chia seeds. I see you having them on your fruit or wherever you can.
It's very good.
Porridge. Yeah, because they're rich in antioxidants. Okay, so there you have it. We have some supplements available for you, especially now that kids have gone back to school. You want to try and reduce the flus, boost their immunity. For those of you that have kids with poor vision, we have an option for you. This one's called Sharp Vision. So that's for the kids. We have vitamin C as well. If you want to, again, help with their immune system. And then this one has calcium and vitamin D. I think it's, and I think some omega-3 as well, for the entire body, entire immune system. So there you have it, parents, please pass by. These can be ordered as well. Yes. And they can be delivered to you wherever you are. So
the contact is...
we'll share the contact on the screen so you can take advantage of that. So that's it with our healthy living. We'll be expounding more on the available supplements. But today we wanted to have a conversation because it's the love month. And while many people joke about it on social media, sometimes this is the month to know whether your relationship is actually serious and is going somewhere, because people in committed relationships, maybe even those in non-committed relationships, will always do something about Valentine's Day. So we thought to help you, if you're in a relationship and you're not sure, is this relationship going anywhere? Does it have direction? Does it have a future? We want to help you understand some of the things to look out for, to know whether your relationship is actually heading in the direction that you think it will head. For many of you, obviously, I'm sure you're looking for commitment, you're looking for stability, you're looking for a place to find security, safety. And so we want to talk through the signs of identifying when a relationship is going nowhere. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Rachel.
Yeah, we've talked about red flags, I think, mostly in the marriage space. But we thought, you know, in commemoration of Valentine's Day, let's have this dating conversation. Yeah. Sure. So, Doctor, we were kidding earlier on this very topic. I really think it's timely, and I think a good place to start would be, what are some red flags that people need to look out for, or that indicate that your relationship either is stagnant, or perhaps you need to rethink it? By the way, Doctor is very concerned about this issue. She said these relationships.
Yeah, because I've told you that a bad relationship can actually affect your immunity. It can kill you faster than malaria. I've said that statement several times. Because mental health.
Yeah.
Mental health, and when I've talked so much about relational health, because we are we tend to be more concerned about physical health. How do I have wounds? I don't have wounds, but an unhealthy relationship, an unhealthy bad relationship, can cause you serious illness, both mentally and physically. And I mean, there's lots of depression, there's lots of anxiety, there's lots of stress in relationships. And if a relationship does not nourish you, then it is affecting you.
This is true. There's no middle ground.
So there's no middle ground. But Rachel, if you would allow me to talk about love.
Yes, yes, please.
Because I think that will cushion our conversation properly. Yeah. Love is a great resource. It's a great emotion. And I've said, I've explained before, let me do it again. We are all fitted with emotions. Emotions is energy. You know, so it is, emotions are actually energy in motion. Yeah. So that energy is either positive or negative. Now, love is one of the strong positive energy, right? And that it's an emotion that is absolutely powerful. Love can change the whole world.
It's true.
And love can boost your health. Love boosts health. Love gives a lot of happiness. Now, happiness hormones that we either have negative hormones or positive hormones. We've talked about stress hormones, but love powers that happiness, those happiness hormones, and so there is it feeds our sense of meaning, our sense of usefulness. Because if you love me, I feel useful.
That's true.
So it's a very, very, very strong emotional resource that we all need. Everyone wants to be loved.
That's true.
Now, because it is very strong, it comes with very high emotional voltage. Then if it isn't there, or if it is mismanaged, it gives the same negative effect. That's why people kill for love.
This is true.
You see? That's why people die of love. You see that?
You've heard that expression.
Yes, and that's, you remember when we had a conversation about broken heart syndrome?
True.
So where is love? That's why when we are talking about love, we have that, what is it called? The emoji. The emoji. Yes. That red thing, which signals the heart.
True.
So love is stored up in the heart. And so when we mismanage it, it requires a lot of management. Yeah. People think you can just throw yourself in love. No. It requires a lot of management All emotions require management. Anger requires management.
True,
Fear requires management. But love is powerful. It's at the core of a human being. Every human being desires it. They desire. We all desire to be loved and accepted. You see? And so love is not something to play around with. And I always encourage people, don't just throw love around. It's something very serious.
Yeah.
If you love someone, make sure that you mean it.
True.
You know, don't just go around loving so many people. No. If you love someone for a relationship, an intimate relationship, that is big time. It's a big project.
Yeah.
And so love can make you or mess you.
That's true.
It can mess you up because it requires serious intentional consideration. And love can actually make you glow.
Yes.
You see, because it nourishes, again, it just powers you. It does something about your hormones, you know. So if you've seen someone deplete, get pale, that means they are love deficient. They can get love deficient. But if someone is loved, you just see them glow.
That's true.
They open up. So it has even both physical effects, physical manifestations. And of course, love gives confidence. You know, it boosts our confidence. So love is powerful.
It is.
So this love of man, rather this month of love. Month of love. Month of love.
Yes.
It needs to be, we need to not to take it as something that people are going to run around, oh, I'm in love. But it actually requires reflection.
Yes.
Am I in the real love, or it's just
for fun?
Butterfly. What is it called? Fiery. That's not something to just manage with excitement, or approach with excitement. It requires thorough thinking, thorough consideration, intentional reflection that is going to help people be better, because love has the capacity to boost your life, your mental health, your emotional well-being, your physical health, and it is at the core of humanity.
That's
if
true.
You wish.
Yeah.
Okay, what did you ask me, Rachel?
What did I ask you? And I really like the thoughts, the foundation you have set for understanding love and what it can do to you. But I think what you have said for me that has stood out is love requires management.
Yes.
And I find that often we imagine, oh, just because I'm feeling a certain way, I should just say yes, I should just give in, I should just have this relationship with, you know, this person. And maybe let's speak to someone who is at that stage, or someone who is also in a relationship, that they are noticing things and they're like, this is not consistent with what I thought love is or should be. So we typically call those red flags. But what are some of those things that people need to look out for as they're starting relationships? Or maybe you're in a relationship and you realize that it is casual, you know, and you're not looking for casual, you know. So talk to us about that.
You see, when we date, when we get into a dating relationship, what are we doing? Because, by the way, Rachel, can I ask you, let me throw this back to you. I've met people in my generation who cannot distinguish between dating. They're like, what is dating? So maybe you want to talk about that yourself.
Yes. Dating versus courtship?
Courtship and, I mean, some people approach you and they go like, I want to marry you.
I want to marry you. Yeah. And there are people who are like that. There are people who say, I want to marry you. And then there are people who, they want to explore. And I think that's what we are calling dating. I feel like also dating is informed by culture, the culture in our society. It's informed by, even as the generations evolve, what dating was maybe when you were growing up might be slightly different for the generation today. People now, again, we talk about the casualness. Dating is, we're just seeing where this is going. I'm getting to know you. And that involves everything a full-blown relationship would have, sometimes including sex. And so dating, in simple terms, is having a relationship with someone I would like to add exclusively to get to know them in the hope that maybe it will lead you towards
With the view.
That it will lead you towards marriage. Good. That's the way I understand dating.
That's right. So that's why I wanted us to be on the same page,
yes.
because when we are dating, we are dating with the view to a long-term partnership,
Sure.
isn't it?
Yeah.
So when we talk about red flags, or when you detect that your relationship is probably headed nowhere, so that's, I wanted us to contextualize it.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, there are so many. First of all, I should say everyone who gets into, not everyone,
Most
people who get into a dating relationship, honestly, are hoping it will have a long-term
effect. That's true. That's very true. Yeah.
You've heard me say that it's rare that someone, really, there's no one who goes through a whole relationship, gets married just to divorce.
No.
So it's in the same way when people are getting into a dating relationship, it's not some casual thing.
Yeah.
It is actually with the view that it will result into something long-term. But then most of the time people hang in there. They hang in there. And in psychology, we call it trauma attachment. Yeah, so you see that the relationship is headed nowhere, but then you are attached to it. But so why we are having this conversation is that you'll be able to see that actually this is headed nowhere. So one of the symptoms, one of the signs, not symptoms, one of the signs that a relationship is headed nowhere is poor communication. Can I take you back to the conversation I had with you about marriage being a partnership?
Sure.
I want to emphasize it, that when we are getting married, we are getting into a partnership. We even call our spouses or intending spouses partners.
Yes.
But we never see it as a partnership.
No.
Now, the key thing that run through partnerships is communication. Communication is the ability to talk about your needs. Because when I come into a partnership, there are expectations I have.
Sure.
You have your expectations. I've had people, sometimes unfortunately, counselors also tell people to get into relationships and expect nothing. What do you mean?
What is
How can I get into a partnership where I expect nothing? That doesn't work.
Yeah.
The reason we come together, think about how people come together. They say, I think I can run my life with this person.
Yeah.
You see, I think we can grow together. I think we can build something we call family together.
Yes.
So what does that mean? It means that I have expectations and this person has expectations.
Sure.
I come in with needs because this project called marriage or a relationship, it's a project. It's supposed to service me and you.
Yeah.
And then we also service it. Sure. Now, the art of relationships is that what you put in is what you get out.
Yes.
Unfortunately, people want to get out
what they have not
put in. But the thing is, my point on communication is that then we are building this together. So we need to communicate our desires, to communicate our needs, to communicate our expectations, to talk about things that may not be going well in as far as this project is concerned. But now when people are in a relationship and they just cannot have a conversation, and especially, I mean, sometimes we have, I've talked about communication, sometimes we have what we call cliche conversations, or just
functional conversations,
just functional to show that you are alive. But there is nothing that you're talking about in as far as the partnership is concerned. Yet you're into this partnership. But most commonly is that people don't have conversations actually, you can be talking, you're talking those cliche things, or what we call it? We call it logistical conversations.
Yeah.
Have you heard this? Have you? But there's nothing. You're talking about logistics, but there's nothing about the two of you. There's no emotional conversation. There's no feeling. There is no aspirations. There's no dreams. There's no nothing, and you're just there. So you're hanging in there. Now the thing is, why people don't talk about their emotions and their aspirations and their areas of discomfort is that they fear to be abandoned.
I'm opening up myself.
I'm opening up myself. They are worried, if I open up myself, I'm likely to be rejected. So that is a red flag. Now, the biggest danger in communication is inability to have what we call uncomfortable conversations. You see, you cannot communicate that you're unhappy about something. No. So you have to face. When you zone in, you're burnt, and then then you just keep skirting around issues, and then you go to cliche and logistical. Communication is key.
It is.
In any partnership. You know, just think about business partnership, and you're totally out of of the operations. You have no idea how things are going. How would you feel? Right? So that is a very big problem. Now, if you cannot have uncomfortable conversations in any relationship, I've said this, let me repeat it. Any relationship where people can't have uncomfortable conversations, that's dangerous. It's very, very dangerous. Because that means you're storing up, you're bottling up. And you can, in bottling up, then bottling up is a recipe for depression, for excessive sadness, because these emotions are not supposed to be bottled up. Emotions are supposed to be released, both positive and negative. Especially the negative. If you're unhappy, if you feel uncomfortable about certain things and you can't talk about them, you're likely to be sad. You're likely to be anxious. You're likely to be stressed. And you're likely to be depressed. And that's why people are preparing for a wedding, but one of them is depressed. It is unfortunate, right? It's terrible. So uncomfortable conversations, and I encourage people, please have uncomfortable conversations. That's when you're able to open boundaries, you're able to understand each partner's needs and all. So that's number one. Related to it, Rachel, is the lack of trust. Lack of trust. You're in a relationship, you're dating, but you're so
unsettled.
You're unsettled.
We're talking about the case of the ex. You know, you've met somebody, he's probably broken up with someone, let's say 6 months to a year, but they're still in touch. There's still something there going on that you don't quite understand, and every time you bring it up back to the communication, the person is not really giving you a straight answer. No, they're just my friend now. You know, we're just talking. So that
I'm closing the
relationship.
I hear that a lot. I'm still closing the relationship. That door never gets closed.
How long does it take you?
Because that communicates lack of commitment, which is
another issue.
But lack of trust, because how do you partner? How do you work together? Unless you trust each other. That means you're not moving into the same direction. One is here, another one is going here. How can you build together? So that dating relationship, and you realize someone doesn't mind about how you feel about it. You know, because trust, we all offer trust to each other. Sometimes it gets broken, but the biggest chunk of trust is built.
That's true.
So building trust is embedded in what we say, what we do, how we live. The things you do together, they are going to build or break trust. So again, there's no middle point there. Then of course, commitment. Commitment, a relationship where you don't discuss future plans.
Even if the future plans are 6 months in advance, there
Yes.
should be a discussion there. Yeah.
It's very interesting. People are dating. That's why we started with this relationship is run with a view to doing
To do
what.
what?
So if there is, if you don't discuss future plans, when you meet, you just take a juice. You talk about Kampala and probably a few other things.
The weather.
The weather, the politics and all, but there's nothing about you.
Yeah.
And you're going to hear your partner say, what are we up to?
What are we doing?
That statement is always very big, especially from
women.
women.
Yeah. What are we?
What are we up to? What are we doing? What are the plans? And then someone is not committing. They say, give me time. Oh, give me time. That's also a very big red flag. That if this goes on for, I mean, it's okay to give, not to put someone on pressure.
Yes.
But remember, when you get together, you have to be up to something.
Yeah.
And so if month 1, I'm still thinking, month 2, I'm still thinking, most likely they have challenges with commitment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's a very, very, very big red flag.
Yeah.
Very, very big red flag.
Yeah.
Then of course, relationships that are dominated by conflicts.
You guys are fighting all the time.
Every time you meet, you're fighting.
Yeah.
That points to, that's a danger sign, because it means a number of things. One is that you have unresolved issues. And again, do you see how it goes back to communication?
Yeah.
So unresolved issues. So every time you have unresolved issues, then that's not a healthy relationship. Because then it means someone is not willing to listen, and you're ready to sweep things under the carpet.
Yes.
Now, that is not healthy. That speaks to your ability to manage a relationship. Right?
Because relationships are managed.
Because relationships are managed.
Yeah.
Love is managed.
Yeah.
That's why I started with love. Love is managed.
Yeah.
And when love is wounded, it has to be treated.
Yeah.
There's nothing like spotless love. No, it's not there. That connection has to be managed. So what has caused the conflict? You see? What has caused that? And conflict management is big in relationships. So if you're unable to resolve conflict, you're going to be building
on a shaky foundation.
Because it's a shaky foundation, because anything you don't resolve just keeps stored up. There's nothing like time heals all things.
It doesn't work like
No,
that.
I've heard that.
Yeah.
You see, that statement is abused. Time heals all things. From the standpoint of relational science, is that time helps us to calm down.
Sure.
Because if you act in the moment, most of the time we are horribly emotional, and emotions are not a good place to make certain decisions. So what time does is that it helps you to process things, to understand where someone could be coming from, and then to also determine your course of action in terms of how do I resolve this. But time doesn't solve your issues. Time requires you to solve issues. You see? So, if you cannot resolve conflict, that means you're probably not good listeners, you're probably not good at empathy and understanding each other, you're not good at compromise. Because I hear people say compromise is wrong. Compromise is a good tool. You're able to understand, maybe at the stage of your relationship, one is still not able to understand certain things, and you're also growing, like all that. That is very important. So relationships, dating relationships that are war zones, it can be a war zone. Every time you meet, you're fighting. Then you meet a little later, then you just have sex. Then you feel a little happy. Just one day in a week. And so that is not a good relationship. That is a danger sign. Major danger sign. Can I talk about sex?
Yes, go ahead.
The only thing that excites you in your relationship is sex.
That's such a red flag.
Yes, because now there's so much premarital sex.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are acting married.
Yeah.
Lots of sex, but then that's the only thing
that keeps your relationship alive.
No emotional connection, no discussion of feelings, of aspirations, of dreams, things. You know, that's a danger.
Yeah.
The only thing that excites you is sex.
Yeah.
Whoosh, that is
run for your life.
no, that's not nice.
No.
And of course, sex has been overrated. We'll have a conversation on that
in the future.
Yeah,
yes.
people think relationships are about sex until they realize that's not
about
the
a
thing.
whole lot more. Yeah.
You see, because if even in marriage, people are saying, "Oh, sex," and everyone is trying to be a sex pest and all. But you see, if sex was anything to go by, then everyone would be happily married.
But no, that's not the way it is.
You see?
Yeah.
So if the only exciting thing in your relationship is when the only time you're happy is only when, then that's a shaky ground.
Very shaky.
Very, very shaky.
Yeah, very shaky.
Very, very, absolutely shaky. And the other thing Rachel would probably talk about is lack of emotional connection. Maybe I've already alluded to it. Lack of emotional connection. And people hate to be in the same space. Yeah? Have you seen people, they are dating,
but I want my space.
I want my space. Essentially, when you're dating, you should be looking forward
to being around this
person. Be around this person. And I can hear some people say, no, I need my space. You see, in relational science, there are stages of connection, and we connect differently. Now, these first years of relationships, that is called deposit years. That's the time when we are still putting in, and putting in. And that's why I encourage people, when you're dating, say all the things, use your tongue. You see, use your tongue to let this person hear what you're saying about them. Because when you're dating, that's why most people get anxious. They are with someone who supposedly loves them, but this guy or woman is holding back. You know, there is nothing they are hearing. You know, we all draw towards someone who we hear loves us.
That's true.
You see, and we see this all the time. Just check in your personal life, who do you gravitate towards?
The one who loves you.
The one who is kind. So just like plants, human nature gravitates towards light, towards warmth.
Yes.
So how warm are you? So if a relationship is running on dry ground, and you see someone is saying, we are meeting, so you feel that we are supposed. They are not saying, "Ooh,
I look forward to that."
You know, the day can't end for you to meet. That's a danger sign.
It is,
because you dread being in the same space. How? You know,
it's not natural.
It is called physical intimacy, and people, of course, have confused intimacy with sex. No.
Yes.
That's not the one. You really want to be in the same space. You want to have conversation. That's why good dating relationships, when people are having conversation, when they marry, I meet in my line of work, couples who are saying, we used to talk a lot, but now we don't. But the point when you were dating, you desired to be in the same space, to talk, to just talk about nothing. That is extremely important. But if you dread meeting, you don't want to have that connection.
You're not as excited anymore.
You're not as excited. You're not looking forward to this person. You dread what they are going to say. That is a danger sign.
It is. It really is.
And can I just say one more thing? When there is a lot of negativity in your relationship, you know, you're being belittled. You don't feel like someone desires you or admires you, or validates what you do. There's lots of insecurity sometimes, and people bring others down. For instance, they are dating someone, they are not so sure they're going to be with them, and the only way to motivate them is to discourage
them. That happens a lot.
Yes, it
in
does.
Relationships.
It does.
Almost
they
like I am the
you.
best person for you. If you leave, nobody is going to love you.
Oh yeah, they do that. That's a sign of insecurity. That person is not with you from the standpoint of comfort and confidence and happy to have you. They are trying to manipulate you to be with them. And so you're with them, they say they love you, but they're saying all these negative things about you. Now who can take you? You're actually lucky to have me. Or they are criticizing everything you do. So the question is, how would they want to partner with someone who they despise? Yeah, so that's a very, very big danger sign. I mean, I could go on and on, but I'm sure these...
Those are quite encompassing for this conversation, and I think will give anyone who is in a relationship a chance to reflect on each of them. Like, what's the communication like in our relationship? Am I being belittled? Am I being criticized at every turn? Are we constantly fighting? You know, is it a war zone in our relationship? Those are definitely things that people need to reflect on, especially even in this season. So how can someone tell if they are truly in love or just in love with the idea of being in love? How can they tell if they genuinely want to be in a relationship or they just like the idea of a relationship? Because that ends up being creating scenarios for time wasting. You meet somebody, they are available, so you date them because you like the idea of a relationship. You know, you want to tell your friends, by the way, I have a girlfriend or I have a boyfriend, but you don't really care about the person. You know, is there a way for somebody to tell what the difference is?
Yeah, when they are in love, they are in love. You see, that's why I started with the love is the thing that gets us together.
True.
It is it's a powerful force that helps us to know that we have the ability to be desired and also to desire. It's very important. Some of these things, we take them for granted. We think everyone has. You know, we have people who have what we call in psychology a flat effect. They are neither happy, you love there. But for us to have that ability is important. Now, how do you tell that then you are okay? Number one, that you are in love, maybe with the right person.
Yes.
And you're headed somewhere. You're not just in a relationship just so to post on social media. I've seen this. I've also seen that some people are dating, but they are so unsure. So you hear someone is planning a wedding, and the partner is telling them, I'll propose when I want, but you can go ahead and plan.
What
it is so sad. You know, so this person is saying, oh, I'm planning a wedding, but my partner is yet to propose. So you're like, oh,
what is happening?
What's happening here? So that when you know that you're in a good relationship, number one, let me remind my friends, the young people, that they are not perfect people. You're going to date and move with an imperfect person. But in all imperfection, number one, you see someone really puts in energy, puts in effort to make the relationship work. They are committed. How do you see this? If there is a problem, they are ready to solve it. They are glad to listen. They are willing to consider another person. They are empathetic. You see, you really see that, yes, in all the brokenness, this person really cares. And not caring just to give gifts.
To silence you.
Because sometimes gifts silence you. Gifts and sex
can blind you.
Blind. Because you know, someone is trying to appeal to your pleasure center, the reward center of the brain. so that you fail to be logical in your thinking. And so they are just blinding you. And so let's be careful, because when someone is willing to address issues, because that means they are clearing, they are gardening. That gardening, you're cleaning up your garden.
Yes,
you know.
yes.
So that person is really glad to do that.
Yes.
And they also see things from your standpoint. You see, they are not just in this relationship for the sake of their own pleasure.
Yeah.
But they are concerned about, they know that a relationship is two people. It's not just one-sided. So that helps.
Yeah.
When you see that, that's a very good sign that you're in a relationship, not just for posting on social media, but actually you're working it out.
Yeah.
Also, Rachel, that a relationship is growing.
Yes.
And how do you tell that a relationship is growing? It is how you, number one, how you start. You realize the kind of struggles you have, and you realize that some of them worked out with time.
Yeah.
You're not conflicting over the same thing for 5 years.
True.
You see, that relationship is growing. Either you or your partner is growing, or both of you are growing. Now that's a very good sign. We usually have reflections in our fellowships, marriage fellowships, and there's a time we were discussing the things we used to deal with, and
you don't deal with anymore.
Yes, and it was very interesting that we were seeing, when we were just married, we were dealing with this, but now we no longer deal with it. That means you're growing. True. You're growing. But if you're fighting over this, you're fighting same another year in, year out, you're not growing. And so those are some of the good signs. Of course, I talked about emotional connection. Let me remind people that we all connect at emotional level, because love is an emotion.
That's true.
Love is an emotion. Now, it has to be nourished at emotional level. Why? Because when we meet, there are certain things we tell each other. We say, I love you. We say, what do you mean? We say, look, I'm happy to leave the entire world and just be with you. We connect, it's feelings. How
I
do
miss
I feel?
you, I want
yes,
to
I
see
miss
you.
you, I want to see you, and all that.
Yeah.
That means you desire the person.
Yeah.
But now when of course that dies, then we swing into logistics. So when you're able to discuss things at emotional level, and let me remind especially my brothers who say they are not emotional. We are all emotional beings.
That's true.
We have the capacity to be angry, regretful, hateful, and all that. But we also have the capacity to have hope, joy, love, peace, and those happiness and all positive emotions. So we are all a pack of emotions.
True.
It's how we release them and use them that makes us human. Now, the ability to relate at that emotional level. Emotional level is not just to cry to what men fear, but it is to communicate feelings. I feel like this. I'm worried. I'm happy. I'm sad. You know, I'm disappointed. This happened. That's the kind of conversation that helps us to be connected.
Sure.
You see? Yeah. But also at this emotional level, we connect dreams. We communicate dreams. We communicate aspirations. We communicate fears and worries and, anxieties. That's what makes a relationship together. Right? When we say emotional connection, most people don't understand it. That's where it is. So you're at the same level. Now, again, of course, with men, my brothers, they tend to approach a relationship from the standpoint of this is what logistics. I have this, I have that, and which is, it's important in terms of your ability and your CV and your profile, but that's not where the relationship is. The relationship is at this vulnerable level where we communicate feelings and we connect. People don't connect with a car and a house. Those are logistics. You see, but then at human level, that's why people hang up in empty spaces, because they are in houses, big things, but then they are empty. So the emptiness is at heart level, because that's where the emotions are. How do you connect there? What conversations do you have? How do you share your dreams? How aligned are you? You know? What fears do you have? What plans do you have? That's where. So every time there is that kind of conversation, you see people happy. Because just that little conversation of, do you know what? When I grow up, I want to put up that building, and how, do you have the money? That alone can make people happy. But what do people talk about? Football. Politics. Which is fine. Maybe they can go over football. You can't be discussing.
It can't be the only thing.
The only conversation you're going to have. So those are the things that nourish. So if you are able to have that conversation, and of course I talked about ability to discuss, to hold uncomfortable conversations. That you're doing emotional cleansing. You're cleansing your relationship. And you're weeding it, because then it is not, you're not keeping all the dirt. And just imagine all the dirt you sweep from the house, you throw it in your garden. I use garden because I love my garden. You love plants, Now, if I throw them into my plants and I'm not cleaning it up, what is going to happen? Oh, the leaves, the fall of trees, everything is there. Is that a good garden? So we need to view our relationships as a garden that needs constant cleaning, constant pruning, and that is done through uncomfortable conversations. I don't think a plant is happy to have its leaves pruned. No. You know, sometimes we see liquids fall coming out. Maybe those are tears, but in relationships where you don't prune, you need to view your relationship as a garden. How does it look like? So those are some of the
signs. I wanted to ask you about social media, because with the advent of social media, people judge their relationships based on, has he posted you on his social media platforms? Is he commenting on your posts? And then now that we are in the month of love, is he doing anything special for you over Valentine's Day? So those become a measure of, am I in a genuine relationship? And I wanted you to comment on that. Are those valid parameters? Or should we focus on, because you said something so powerful, that love is nurtured at an emotional level? Because someone might be posting you on their social media, but the emotional connection is lacking. And so I want you to comment on, because it's the era we are living in, comment on social media and how it impacts relationships, and if that is a worthy parameter for me to decide if, okay, this relationship maybe is going somewhere because he has put me up on his WhatsApp status.
Okay. So one of the major needs in a relationship is security. So I would encourage that people don't isolate things and say, what do I need? Because most of the time we get so dismissive about things and we don't contextualize them.
That's it.
So if posting you on social media, what's that? What does it communicate? Because we have so many ways of expressing. It's expression of love and commitment. And I'm not here saying, oh, you go post everyone and people shoot back and say, what do you mean? Me, I'm private and all. No, that's not what it means. If you are in a relationship, there are so many ways people express their love and their commitment. And someone putting you on their status, I don't want to shoot it down. That's also big.
It's big.
Because you're communicating commitment. You see, it's communication of commitment. We communicate differently.
True.
But it is big. It's actually it's like a public display of commitment. That's why we go to church to wed.
To wed, yeah.
You see, people can be married anywhere, but people go to church to wed.
Yeah.
What are we doing in front of people? What are you doing? You're promoting accountability. What does accountability do? It promotes security.
True.
You see, it promotes commitment. It promotes security. So when someone knows that I'm in a relationship, you took me out and showed me to people, that's really big.
It's powerful.
That's powerful. That's why when people are dating, they say, let's go to the family so that they can see you. What are we doing? So let's not isolate things and say social media, do I need not? That's not the conversation.
Yeah.
I would never go there. It's wider. So look at it in terms of display of commitment.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. So if you do that, you can do it in so many ways. I'm not going to kill my husband that he hasn't put me on his status.
Yes.
Probably not. If he does, I wouldn't mind.
Yes.
But you know what? It is bigger.
Yeah.
It's bigger. And I think one of the challenges we are having with relationships is people trivialize things and then isolate them and then shoot them down, yet they are very important. So it is that putting you on a social media status is a sign of accountability, so that the world can see that you're his or hers.
Yeah.
You know, you're taken.
Yeah.
You're off the shelf.
Yes.
You're off the shelf.
Yeah.
You know, we have so many people who are still on the shelf. You know, I think I've ever told you a story during COVID when I was looking for my perfume and things were not coming in. I looked for my perfume. I couldn't get it. And later on, I went to a shop in Bugolovi and I found this perfume.
The very one you were looking for?
I said, what? This perfume is here? And the lady said, sorry, it's taken. But it was on the shelf.
Yeah.
And you know what? I started, you know,
you put up a fight.
I put up a fight. I'm like, no, the fact is here
means it's
said,
available.
No, someone said they will take it. I said no, and I even had the temptation to buy it more, to offer more for it.
Yes.
But this girl was amazing.
Yeah.
She very committed. She said no, it is off the shelf, and I'm sorry I forgot and left it off the shelf. So that's what I mean. You know, because when we post people, we are saying there are so many ways to show that you're committed, and we are working towards exclusivity. I can never overemphasize the importance of exclusivity in relationships, because if you're showing that I'm taken, that's a sign. That's heroism.
It's a big thing.
It's a big thing, and it protects you as well.
Yeah.
Whoever does that, it protects your mental health. Because now you have clarity of purpose, and you also have clarity in your relationship. It means that you're convinced that you're ready to live life with this person, and so you're comfortable with them. It communicates so many things. So it is not as simple as, do I have to, no, that's not up for debate.
Yeah. I like the context around it. And I think when you say that it communicates commitment, for the people who say, you know, I'm private, I'm not going to post you, if your partner has communicated commitment in other ways, then maybe don't fight or don't sweat the social media.
The social media, absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm so glad you bring that up.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that everyone is going to post.
Yes.
There are people who really want to be private.
That's true.
And so you shouldn't kill them. That's why I say there are so many ways of communicating commitment.
Sure.
But if someone if someone wants to post on social media, they are okay. But also, Rachel, if your partner is fighting that you put them on social media, most likely they are still insecure. They are not so sure about your commitment.
Something is wrong within the relationship.
Because it's like, tell the world. So they are pretty much, you know, forcing you to tell the world. and they are not so sure.
Yeah.
But if someone is secure, honestly, I don't think they'll run
There's no reason
after
to social media.
Yeah, so
Okay, so as we try and bring this conversation to a close, let's say someone is watching this show and they realize, oh my goodness, out of the 6 things that doctor has talked about, we're struggling with 4. Maybe I need to take this relationship to the next level. Sometimes it means walking away. Sometimes it means having a hard conversation. What does someone do if they realize their relationship is not progressing based on the things that you have shared?
Yeah. So if the relationship is not progressing, then it's stagnant.
It's stagnant, yes.
And don't force it, because you see, if a relationship is stagnant and you're not able to have all those things, there are certain principles that hold a relationship together. So like what I told you, someone is displaying lack of commitment, and it's not that they are neighbor here, they are neighbor here, but they are saying they want to marry, but they won't commit. But then you jump and start booking things. You see, that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So most likely you need to step back and evaluate your worth.
There it is. Not the relationship.
Not your
Evaluate your worth.
Yeah. Are you possibly trauma attached? Yeah, because some people get into trauma attachment. They are worried about breaking the relationship because there's one person in this world and it is this person. That's not true. Most likely this is not your person. Yeah, because if they are refusing to commit, then what are you doing? You see, we arm twist them, we get pregnant, then you know there's so many things, there's so much drama that goes around it. Don't force a person into commitment. It is going to be dangerous. Because if you force them into commitment, you're going to force them through marriage, and it can be an uphill task.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's why people are depressed. So it is important to step back, evaluate yourself. You know, evaluate yourself. Ask yourself, who am I in this relationship? What's my worth?
What do I want?
What do I want? Is this the person that I want? Based on my values? You know, what is my set of values? What is my personal value system? What do I need in a relationship of this nature? You know, is it just to have, am I in just for just? What is holding this relationship? You know, so step back, because if you want to go as a team, you might lose some turning points. But check, are you sure this is a relationship that I need to invest in? Because relationships require investment. It is the same thing, like business. You know, every time I tell people we need to look to give a business sense to relationships.
We absolutely should. And
we should.
I think
Just
it will save
imagine
us a lot.
Yes, I learned a lot from a business advisor, that the moment you realize a business is not consistently not working, don't think putting in more money is the thing that is going to. No, it's not working. Step back and say, do I have the market for things? So many things that you need to consider. You know, evaluation. So evaluation of you as a person, discover yourself. What are you not? What are you doing right? What are you not doing right? Could it be you that is actually the issue in this relationship? Could it be the other person? Just make sure you take the courage to evaluate that relationship. That is extremely important. Number 2, give the relationship a futuristic view, because sometimes we get stuck in the day to day, and you're not looking at the future, because the moment you project this relationship, then it's going to help you give it a fair evaluation. What are we headed to? If I'm seeing this and this, and you've heard me say anything negative you see, give it a factor of 10. So if this multiplied by 10, would I would we have a
Would be
marriage?
okay. Yes.
Yes, because when people are dating, it tends to become so disparate. You just want to have a wedding and all that, but that's not where it stops. After the flowers are off the cars, then marriage starts. So, are you sure you really want to invest in this and then continue at all costs? No, it doesn't make sense. It does not make sense. So it's very important to evaluate the future of the relationship.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I like that. And I like that you say it takes courage.
Yeah.
Because when you've been with someone, and for some people in relationships for, say, a year, 2 years, people now start to think, oh, this time is going to be wasted. Let me just forge a path ahead. Let me just marry them, even with all the baggage, because I would have wasted 2 years, dating this person. But when you have the mindset of this is a partnership, I'm going to have to invest more in this relationship, then I think it gives you better perspective.
That's right, but you see the loss that you're calculating, yes, it is, you can look it as you can look it as loss, but it could also be viewed as a time of learning.
Yes.
What have you learned? Most of the time we look at time as loss. No, but it could be a time of learning. What have you gained? That's what we call a growth mindset. You just have the way you look at things is going to determine things. So supposing you look at this as a point of learning and you say, in my next relationship, not that I'm encouraging people to move from relationship to relationship, but if it is not working, then
evaluate.
Don't just move with a relationship that is not working. Clearly, you see it is not working. I mean, I've seen people going to wed and they are crying,
walking down the aisle.
Okay, so you can miss your family and all, but I mean, in my work as a therapist, I say this: you have like so many unresolved things. You're sad, you're angry, you don't trust, you're broken. People are cheating and all, and then, but you have your wedding planned. I mean, I've seen a number of people. Someone is moving with their ex towards the wedding, and they're saying, "I'm having closure."
Seriously?
Like,
towards the
what
wedding?
a joke! Like, what a joke! And then this person is stuck because they've been in this relation. What will people say? What will say? But you see, after you have gotten fully committed into this relationship, it graduates into marriage. Like, people have their own things to do. No one will care about. Yes, so you have to be very careful who you are accountable to. Again, please let this not come out as promoting self-centeredness. No, but you have to be serious about who this relationship benefits.
That's true.
Yes. So if you're getting into a partnership that is headed nowhere, honestly, no one is going to care so much. So be careful.
Except you who is in the relationship.
When you're depressed, no one is going to know. Sometimes people die when no one knows.
That's true.
So let's take this really, really serious. Yes, you have lost time, but you can reframe it and look at it differently as a time of learning.
That's true.
Yeah, don't push someone to marry you. No, don't push someone to marry you. We all get into this partnership willingly.
Yeah, we should get into this partnership willingly. Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Evers. I feel like you have painted a good picture of what it means to understand, what your relationship is about, but also identifying those, let's call them red flags or danger signs, that maybe your relationship is not going anywhere. And in this month of love, emotions are high. People, want to be seen. I saw a meme recently, and the person was saying, "You're not the first person to fall in love. So when you post on social media, just tell us the name of your partner and what God has done for you, and keep it moving." People are tired. People are tired. But the truth is, of just hearing about relationships, because Valentine's season, we're going to see people posting me and my person, me and my boyfriend.
Yeah, but that's okay.
I mean, it is fine. It is. I'm just saying that be sure based on what we have said.
Yes, absolutely.
Be sure based on what we have talked about on the show. But we do wish you an amazing celebration of love this month. Of course, keep it reality check. I hope this has been helpful. If you needed to take notes, please do that. And share this episode with someone who might find it useful. Perhaps they're in a relationship and they are not sure. They're saying, I see some things, but also I see some good, you know. So having this in their arsenal would help them figure out if this relationship is actually heading somewhere. So until next week, please stay well, stay healthy, and please do come by Suma Coffee and Wellness Center. Get yourself some supplements. For the parents, we have some options for your children. If they're struggling with their vision, if they need a booster, especially with all the flus and coughs going around, we have some vitamin C, and then an overall supplement for their immunity and general well-being. And then, of course, there's something for men, there's something for women, there's something for the entire family. So do drop by and let's stay healthy. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.